911 emergency, what are you reporting?
Negative K, nothing further.
You're listening to another great episode of We Speak Dispatch.
Hi, everybody. Hey, welcome back to another great episode of We Speak Dispatch. Because if we're speaking dispatch, man, we're speaking it right to you. And you should be going, hey, you know what? They're speaking dispatch. And we're like, yes, we are. So today we're going to do a little, oops moments in our careers. We've had some of these, and so have you, I'm sure. When you've maybe keyed down that mic and said something that maybe you shouldn't have said. Now, there's a story that came out, and I'm not going to tell you where it's from because, I just want to keep their confidentiality on it. But this particular dispatcher was dispatching calls, and in the middle of a traffic day, in the middle of the day, she's on the radio, and she keys down as she's talking to her coworker. And she's telling her coworker, I love this job because I can smoke pot all the time.
Oh, jeez.
And it went out on the radio, but now she's under investigation, and it made the news, and the news has the tape, and it was like, oh, man. And when I heard that, I thought,
hilarious.
buddy, that sounds like we've all probably had these kind of things. I'll tell you one quick, and then we're going to go to everybody. We're going to do a round table. Everybody's going to get
I
it.
wonder if she eats a lot of potato chips.
Yeah, she just got the munchies out of the car. I'll tell you, I was acting commander for a comm center for a little bit, and which meant I got to drive the patrol car, which was nice because free gas. And so I let one of the other supervisors drive the car one day. She had to go to a meeting. I said, just take that car. Who cares? It's just an old beat up car anyway. It's a Crown Victoria. So she gets in the car and she takes off. Well, that car was an undercover car initially, and it had the mic key on the floor. So your foot was keyed on the mic. So as she's driving, she is keying down the mic talking about me. And she's saying, Doug thinks he knows all these things and he's ridiculous. And I'm like, everybody in the room is looking at it. We're all looking at each other like, oh,
And they're all looking
mama.
at you.
So you hear the phone ringing and she's like, hello? Oh, my God. I thought it was pretty
awesome.
funny. I thought it was pretty funny out there. So let's hear what you guys have. What do you guys have for something like this? Glenn, you said you had something.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. I
go.
worked midnights, but at this point in my career, but I'm started long enough ago that a lot of times we didn't just have the microphone on the headsets. We had the boom mics that came out.
Right.
So I don't have a ton of open mic stories from there, but the one that I do have is we decided to put on our headsets that night. And I talked to one of the three of us that were working at the time, and I said, hey, have you ever had an open mic? And she, of course, said yes. And I said, I want to test this to see how quickly our officers will jump to another channel to tell us there was nothing going on. I wasn't on the primary dispatch channel, none of this. So I just keyed up, but we were having a normal conversation. We weren't staging anything. It was nothing bad, except for I didn't tell everybody in the room. And one of my coworkers and a gentleman that likes to say whatever he wants to say, whatever he wants to say it, blurted some stuff out like, put your pants on or something like that, because he knew that I had this open mic and he thought that he was going to catch me with this open mic. And I couldn't believe it because I was trying to figure out how long it took our officers to tell us we had an open mic. They told us real quickly after we said something like that. But it was half staged, half not. I decided never ever to do that again. So that's my open mic story.
Wow, that's put your pants back on.
I love it.
On that comm center.
You put your pants back on, right? They were on.
Yeah, they were on. He was trying to be funny. And I was just trying to hold it down, have a normal conversation to see how long it would take him to bounce to a different channel and say, hey, you guys got an open mic up in dispatch. And if you do that, or if you want to test it sometime, don't be on the primary channel. Make sure nobody's busy at the time and tell everybody.
I love that.
Or just don't do it.
Oh, that's always a good one. All right, Glenna, what did you have?
Okay, I've got three really good ones. I'll make them quick.
Oh,
Okay.
I got to hear you on the radio then.
So the first one, I was new to dispatch. I'd just got out of training, and I was working nights, and I was on the records channel. Officer was running somebody, and when I had keyed down the mic to answer him, when I unkeyed, it got stuck. So he can hear me running this person, and I'm like, I can't find it. And I'm talking to myself. And so then I key down the mic again and I said, do you have like a date of birth or blah, 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 blah. And then I think I unkey the mic and I go, come on now, is this so effing hard? And then I key down the mic again and I said, hey, you gave me the CDC number or whatever. It's not working. Do you have this? And I unkey the mic and I go, come on, effing answer me. DIPSHIT. So I'm doing all of this on channel 2. And then he finally my mic comes off and he says, well, I'd answer you if you would let me speak. That new officer that I didn't know yet, he ended up being my lieutenant like a couple months ago. Like for the last 2 years, he's been my lieutenant. It's great. That's the first one. The second one, we had a 5K run for a fallen officer. And of course I have an open mic and I'm all, donuts. 500 people right as the race starts. All they hear over the radio is, donuts. It was great. But the most epic one ever, you may want to put a PG label on this one. I'm sitting there watching TV and a DC-10 is about to crash in like Iraq. And I'm watching it and I'm leaning back and I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, unbeknownst to me, my headset shorted out the battery part of it. So now it's live and everybody could hear me saying, oh God, oh my gosh, oh God, because it's going to crash. And I'm a very animated person. My partner, who you can't hear, says to me, do you want me to change the channel? And I'm like, yes.
Oh my God.
And then I'm being very G-rated, but I am a very animated person. And then next thing you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh. The next thing you know, you hear running down the hallway, like somebody's hurt or something. My lieutenant comes in, the captain comes in, everybody's looking at me and they're like pissed. What the hell's going on? You have an open mic. And I'm like, what? And then an officer walks in and I still have an open mic. I don't know yet. And he goes, wow, I need a cigarette after that.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
I didn't put my headset on for like a week. I couldn't. I was so embarrassed, but it was great.
Like she really likes her job. Really?
I really like it a lot.
Wow.
All right, John, you got anything for us?
I wish I could quote unquote top that. But the one that always comes to mind is I was midnight shift, dispatching fire department, and just reading the CAD, and the foot pedal got caught under a desk, and I didn't know this. And afterward, it's a street I'd never heard of, and after I tone all the units and tell them to go, blah blah, what it's for, and I just say wherever the hell that is. And I didn't even realize that. I don't even think anybody knew it was in the middle of the night. But obviously the station that got alerted, well, clear as day there, because the speakers and the lights and fire stations go on when they're activated. But never got it. I was literally waiting for the call that the battalion chief would call my director, who would contact the supervisor, who would tell me, and I'm getting fired. But fortunately, it was midnight and not 12 hours later.
Oh my
God, that's awesome. Whatever the hell it is.
Yes.
I'm not a map out there. So I do have another one that when I was fairly been on the job, maybe like 5 years, I was training a lot of people. And at that time I had this bad habit, almost like Tourette's. I would constantly say the word dumb. I'd be like, dumb. Just like in random, just people would do something, I'd be like, dumb. And it was like I had to tell everybody, like, hey, sometimes I just say it, I don't mean it, but I just say dumb sometimes. So
how are you?
I had one of our very senior motor officers, very senior. Okay, got it. Very crusty kind of guy, very like not playing around at all. And he's running somewhere, and he's like, LA, or he said, wherever I was at, he said, did you copy? And I said, that's a firm we copied. Dumb.
Oh my God! Think about it, huh?
Because you just heard him click the mic a couple of times, and that was it. He didn't say nothing else. It was like I was like, he's gonna come in here and kick my ass. He is so ancient, and he's like this guy. And I'm like, people are calling me on the phone, going, "Doug, did you say that?" I said, "Did I? I didn't mean to. I just sort of said it." I'm like, "Oh my God."
Where did you start sweating? Like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. And I was
Say?
training somebody at the time, and she's looking at me going, oh my God, you're probably going to be in so much trouble. I'm like, don't say that. It's like, I'm usually in a lot of trouble. So you don't want to be in anymore.
Where these have also became more known a little bit as our phones have transitioned to computer-like based phones, is sometimes they don't always disconnect or hang up right away.
I'll agree.
And so the call recording, and if you don't have a policy that says you edit your recordings, but goes to court and the dispatcher will vent or use some traumatic release of words to digress from the situation that they just took, or whatever you want to say. And they'll be like that, beneath, or whatever. And then that's now going to court. So be aware this doesn't just have to be your headset. It can also happen on the phone.
Mute switch.
Yeah. Well, we had ACD where I work. That's automatic call distributor, meaning as soon as you hang up, you get another call.
Yep.
And we caught that all the time. People chewing, people singing. And it's like, because it was immediately in your ear, all you heard was a beep, and there it is, they're live.
Right. Like this.
And it was like, and it was like, oh my God. And so we had to always remind people, if you're working on ones and you please don't say anything in between calls, because they're gonna hear it. So if you're saying anything, or that stupid ass just did this or whatever, it's like, it's gonna go. And it's like, in fact, we had one of our dispatchers, I don't even know how he did it. Guys is like a technical person. He rigged up a little, like, if you had a Walkman, that's how old I am.
Oh my gosh.
Walkman, he could figure out how to plug your headset into the Walkman, into the computer, into our dispatch thing. So in between calls, you could hear music in your head.
Oh my gosh.
Craziest thing. He sold them to everybody. They're like $10. He sold them to everybody. So we're getting these things. Well, the bad thing is we didn't realize that the caller can hear that too.
Oh, so they're having an
what song did he
emergency
play?
listening to music.
So
Tell me it's not NWA.
oh God, can you imagine? It's hot in here. It's like, get ready.
Public
Oh my
Enemy.
God.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I didn't know until the supervisor started complaining about that. We're hearing this music, where it's coming from, and then it was like,
Oh, never
he
mind.
made these things that are really cool.
And then it just mysteriously stopped.
The last place I'll go for open mics is over the PA building of a large building that you may work
yeah.
in. You ever
God.
overhead page? Because if you ever overhead page, make sure you hit the right button. You know, don't, because there was an employee that was in the bathroom a long time where I worked, and one of our dispatchers decided to key up and do a water rescue in the bathroom because he'd been in the bathroom for an inordinate amount of time.
Oh my God.
And we were the only ones that were working there, right on the top floor. But instead of hitting the right button that went on the third floor, it went over the whole. Now it was overnight, so there wasn't anybody in the building, right? But it did
Thank
go over
goodness.
the whole building where the commanders, the sergeants, lieutenants that were working at the time that were in the building got to hear that. And he came in, he goes, you know, he thought it was funny and stuff, but we didn't quite realize it went over the whole building. So open mics can come from anywhere. So just be aware of what you're doing.
I
That
love
is
the
awesome.
water rescue of this poor guy.
I know.
Urinal 4, water rescue.
He's under. All right. All right. Well, hey, that's another little quick broadcast right there. We're still at 15 minutes right there. But Joe, tell us a little bit about our social media, where we're at, where we're going, what's going on with it. So there you go.
Yes, no problem. One of the things that I'm starting to do is give an interesting stat and the benefits for listening. So if you want to be a guest, email wespeakdispatch@gmail.com. And some of our most popular episodes have been 911 leadership, new employees and dispatch, recruiting and hiring for 911, and fire dispatching. You can come with a topic that we will discuss that you want to hear about from people that currently work in 911 or have several years in 911. So we want to have you be a guest. And to all of our people that are listening, thanks for listening to us. We're in nearly 50 countries.
Dang, that's so cool out there. I love that stuff. So we want to hear from everybody. We want to hear from you. Send us something. Come and comment on our videos. Send us an email. Do anything like that. But we want to hear from you and what you're thinking of these broadcasts and what you're walking away with saying, hey, I'd love to talk about this or that or whatever. Like Joe said, you can be on here and join us to talk about this cool thing out here. So other than that, it's that time. Go out and make it a great day, because you know we will. Good night, everybody.
We hope you've enjoyed another great episode of We Speak Dispatch. If you would like to be a sponsor, please contact us for details.